and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Social Today show. So this is where we look at social media throughout the week. You will find me on Periscope, periscope.tv/intranetfuture. Every weekday at 8:45. Good morning, Rita, and good morning, Nigel. I hope you both had great weekends. Good morning, Sir Giles. So we are here on Monday with social media news roundup of what's going on in the world of social media, the latest features on social networks, etc. And also, I will share a tool or an app that I've discovered during the week with you that I hope you will find useful, and we'll look at an example. In this case, a bad example of social media use out there in the real world. But first, the news. So Facebook, first off, quite a bit of news on Facebook. First thing is a difference in terms of what you can see in your newsfeed. So, as I'm sure we're aware, Facebook use an algorithm to decide what content appears in your newsfeed. So they basically try and make the newsfeed as interesting and as relevant for you as possible, using a number of criteria. So, in other words, contact with your friends, contact with business pages. So, simple example: if you visit a business page a lot of the time, then they're more likely to show that content in your newsfeed. If you like and comment on that content from that page, then again you will see more of that in your newsfeed. And overall, also, how it works is that if loads of people like and comment, share on a particular post, then again that will be more popular in news feeds generally. So a bit of a tinkering with Facebook on that. So they're bringing a more human manual mechanism into that. So they are starting to do polls. So they're putting up content, sort of 4 or 5 items, 4 or 5 viral videos, let's say, or 4 or 5 news stories, and asking people to select which of those news stories, which of those videos they prefer. So if you say that you don't like certain viral videos, you will see less of those, or perhaps won't see any of those in your news feed. If you say you like particular content, then apparently there'll be no change, but certainly on the negative side, you can basically stop certain content appearing in your newsfeed. And Facebook used the example of people generally saying that they don't like all the hoax stories that go around on Facebook. So if you don't like those, you can point that out, and you'll no longer see those in your newsfeed. Other changes from Facebook: plugins now on website. I quite like this feature, and I've already asked my web guy to implement this on my Contact Us page. So you can now have Messenger on your website. So in other words, people can send you a Facebook message directly from your website. They don't have to go to your Facebook page. So I really like this one. So particularly if you're in customer services, or you want to encourage content connections with your it is. It's great, Gel. Good new feature. Want to encourage communications with your fans. You can do that via your website directly. So it's another method of people that people can use to contact you. Also, in a similar way, new plugin for events. So if you use Facebook events functionality a lot, then you can place events on your website. Is it very interrupting? Well, yeah, I guess it is, because you've always got to have somebody to manage that. So if you've got a lot of Facebook messages coming in, then yes, you have got to manage those. And I think, well, I know the expectation of people using, say, Messenger compared with, say, email, the expectation for response is a lot faster. They're going to expect you to reply pretty quickly. But nice features. So plugins for Messenger and for events. So your event details you can now put directly on your website, and people can indicate they can come to your event directly from your website without having to visit your Facebook page. So another one Facebook is trialing in the States is a buy tickets option. So you can now, if you're going to say rock concert, you can click to on the Facebook event and purchase tickets and pick those tickets up at the venue when you arrive. So this is kind of like an extension of the Buy Now button, which I've mentioned before. Buy button on Facebook. Again, it's available in the States, but should be over in the UK in the new year. I think it was something else for Facebook as well. Oh yes, a Periscope equivalent is now being trialled in the States from Facebook. So this could be huge. Could it actually indeed be bigger than Periscope? So it'd be interesting to see how popular this becomes on Facebook. Was initially only for high-profile people. Mentions rolled out to all. Is that Twitter mentions? You mean Sajal? Not sure. But yeah, Facebook Live Video they're calling it, so available to everybody. Initially only available to celebrities and high-profile people. Now being tested by regular Facebook users in the States. Yeah, live video coming soon, hopefully to the UK. And of course, the other big news with Facebook was Mark Zuckerberg deciding to give away 99% of his fortune in celebration of the birth of his daughter. So he won't be giving it all away at once, so will remain the controlling shareholder of the company, but he will be giving it away over time. They're calling it mentions. Thanks, sorry, I was a bit as Sajal. I didn't realise that, so interesting that they've given it that term, mentions. That sounds kind of a bit wordy rather than video kind of word brand that you'd expect, but interesting. Thanks for that one. So what else? Well, I couldn't find any news on Twitter whatsoever. So kind of usual story from Twitter. Not really much happening there over on Twitter. LinkedIn though, some new mobile apps. Have you seen the new mobile apps on LinkedIn? What do you think of them? I like them. I think they're a vast improvement. However, there are a few features missing. They're a vast improvement because on the older iPad app, for example, amazingly you couldn't even take a photograph and upload a photograph or upload a photograph from your camera roll, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's now been resolved. The whole thing looks a bit more streamlined, as Rita says. Looks a bit more looks Facebook-esque, really. Looks more like Facebook. A few things missing that I would like on there, though. Not really many options. There's a few options on search on the iPad app, but very limited, well, as in none, on the Android app that I can see. So all you can do is just tap in a basic search at the top. So a few more search filters would be nice on the mobile apps. And also, disappointingly, you just get a straight news feed. You can't decide between top news and latest newest updates on your feed, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. And just something from Android version will allow multiple accounts on the same device. Instagram, yeah, that's right, that's coming in. I did mention that one last week, actually, Sajal. I think a few people have got that. I haven't got that yet, but will be great when that comes in. But if anyone else has spotted any other news, that would be great to know. Used to be a huge fan of Foursquare, but I kind of got bored with it and confused like everybody else, where they split it into Foursquare and Swarm. But did just pick up that you can now order food directly through Foursquare, which is interesting. So kind of similar to what Facebook and Twitter will be doing soon in the UK, but this is actually available in the UK now. So you can order through Hungry House directly from Foursquare, which is interesting. So Foursquare is an app, a sort of location-based app. It's now sort of a bit like a TripAdvisor, I guess, Foursquare, and tells you lots of local tips about your best local coffee shop and that sort of thing to go to. If you're actually in a town that you're not familiar with and you're looking for, that example, looking perhaps somewhere to co-work or have a coffee, it's not too bad an idea to fire up Foursquare and give it a go. And finally, we have an example of social media use. Here's one of what not to do. Those of you who follow or are friends Facebook will be familiar with this one. So this was from the Cheltenham Asda Superstore on a big banner outside. They're using this as a campaign hashtag this Christmas. Anybody like to tell me what's wrong with this picture, so to speak? Possibly there are a few things wrong with it, but there is sort of one thing in particular that is quite significant. No answers. Okay, so what could be possibly improved is the old camel case. So we could have a capital B, a capital I, and a capital C for the different words. And it's implied that it is a bit wordy. It is a bit long. Also, it sort of might be better if it was in one straight line, but then that would make it too long. So that's a bit of an issue there, the fact that they've split it into 3 words. But most significantly is the apostrophe, because putting the apostrophe in there just means it simply won't work on Twitter or social media. Hashtags break if you include apostrophes. So to be fair, on things like cover pictures, I've noticed that Asda are using it's correct, but yeah, they don't take apostrophes. But on this particular banner, maybe it was the printer that got it wrong, or somebody didn't proofread it. It's just not going to work. So be very careful. In fact, it's pretty much any punctuation at all you can't include on in a hashtag. Another recent example was Marks and Spencer. Yeah, it does remains because, and everything else gets shut off. Another example was Marks and Spencer. Actually, on the side of lorries, the whole bunch of lorries that had marked at marksandspencer.com, when of course it should have been just at Marks and Spencer. Okay, so that's it for today. Day of prep for me today. Got a couple of workshops coming up. A bit of a plug actually for my LinkedIn workshop with Louise Jenner on Thursday. So if you're local to Cheltenham and fancy learning all about LinkedIn, do book in for that one. So doing a bit of prep for that. And on Wednesday I'm over at the Royal Agricultural University in Cirencester doing a social media for an agri-tech business over there. You're welcome, Sajal. For agri-tech businesses over there, they're supporting agri-tech in Royal Agricultural University, so preparing for that. What are you up to today? Do let me know in the comments, whatever it is you're doing. I hope you have a productive day. And of course, you can tweet me at intranetfuture. So that's it for now. I won't be back tomorrow. I have a funeral to attend tomorrow, but I'll be back on Wednesday. Not sure what I'm covering yet on Wednesday, but if you've got any ideas, do ping those across, and more social media good stuff for you on Wednesday. So that's it on social today. Bye for now, and back on Wednesday at 8:45.